Hello, I'm Aaron Bumblebee, and today I'm going to be taking the Kali Audio LP8s and doing something to them that you should absolutely not do. Ramming them into my drums. And then after that, I'm going to plug up the ports, which is something you should absolutely not do. So don't do it. And I'll explain why, but don't do it. And now that I've said that, let's do it. Speakers with ports on them allow air to move in and out of the enclosure, and that reduces the amount of pressure on the speaker cone as it wants to move back and forth. This is a cool thing, it has many benefits, but it also has some downsides. So what happens if you seal up that enclosure? When the enclosure is fully sealed, as the speaker cone comes in, the pressure inside the enclosure increases. As it goes out, it decreases. And this air pressure reacts with the cone itself, causing the cone to be held kind of like a spring is attached to it, like an air spring. If we look at these familiar springs in the studio, I've tightened one of them and loosened one of them. Let's see what happens when we just let them go. The tighter pedal returns to its initial state much faster, and the looser pedal just keeps wobbling around. And the same thing happens with speakers. The sealed enclosure with the quote-unquote air spring returns back to its initial state much faster, and this is called impulse response. Better impulse response with sealed cabinets isn't free though. For reasons that I'm not going to go into in this video, sealed cabinets have less low frequency extension with a softer roll-off, while ported cabinets have more low frequency extension with a steeper roll-off. The first thing I've done is take a piece of MDF, 3/4 inch, about 18 millimeters, rounded all the edges so it fits in the rounded edges of the port, and then I'm just going to shove it in there and we will test it. I've also taken some foam that's a little thicker than the wood, and I've made it so I can just shove it right in there, and we'll see how the foam works. And since not everybody has a studio that's well treated and set up like mine, I've gone ahead and thrown it inside my workshop, which is approximately the size of a medium bedroom. It has no acoustic treatment at all, and I'll be testing it in there as well. So let's go ahead and see what the results are. Before we do that though, quick safety break. Some foam is basically gasoline or petrol. It will just set everything on fire. If the foam you have is not self-extinguishing, that is, it doesn't continue to be on fire after you put it on fire, don't use it. It's extremely important. Make sure your foam is fire safe. And even more importantly, that port right there isn't just for sound, it's for that amplifier on the back. That thing generates heat, and that heat has to go somewhere. Turns out that they probably designed it so that heat goes out of the port. So what does that mean for you? Just don't do this. It's dangerous. It's potentially stupid. It's probably going to void your warranty. Hopefully it voids your warranty. It should void your warranty. If something breaks, it's your fault. It's not my fault. I just told you not to do it. I'm doing this because I accept that I'm probably going to break these things and it's my fault. So don't do it. This is dumb. I mean, it's obvious. They designed it to work a certain way, and we're defeating that. So the results, frequency-wise, are basically what we expect. I have multiple versions that are bunged with foam, with MDF, and with the foam and the MDF, and we see a gentler roll-off with less bass. That's what we expected. The impulse response is also what we expected. The blue measurement takes longer to release to zero, and everything else just stops moving a little bit quicker. In the workshop, which is totally untreated, we get basically the same results. More bass when ported, less bass when unported, but slightly more even. In the workshop, the RT60 measurement is particularly interesting. We can see with the port plugged up, there is much less reverberation, much less sound moving around the room for much less time. And for a room that's untreated, that is definitely a bonus. And also we get about a 5 to 6 decibel improvement in the impulse response. On the back of the monitor, there are switches, which allows you to increase a low-frequency shelf by about 2 decibels. So what if we seal the cabinet and use that? In my test in the workshop, I actually ended up getting 4 decibels more bass, which is kind of cool. But what happens to our other measurements? The RT60 is still superior for the sealed version, either one, and the impulse response is clearly superior for both of the sealed versions, bass up and normal. I like things sealed, so I put in a layer of foam on top of the MDF, and then another layer of foam, and then I squished it all down with the back plate. So now everything is pretty well sealed, at least as far as the port is concerned. Is this the end all of speaker mods? No. Is it even my idea? No. People have been doing this since speakers have existed, basically. However, I wanted slightly better impulse response from my LP8s, and I wanted less bass response, naturally, because I have an Eve TS112 and I have an Atom Sub 10 that I use already, and the LP8s will be switched on and off with that. So I actually wanted to cut some bass out of my system and see if I can get a little bit more punch out of them. As they are designed, they're totally fine. I mean, it's not like they did something bad and I'm fixing something that they should have fixed. They work how they should work. I just wanted something different out of them. And of course, none of this matters because I know you're not going to do this unless you accept full responsibility for anything that happens, and you're not going to bug Cali Audio with warranty claims or something because your stuff burned out. You're not going to be a jerk like that. AdmiralBumblebee.com, Patreon.com/AdmiralBumblebee. If you could hit subscribe, you will find out how many cool ideas I have in my head and how many dumb ideas I have in my head. It's like a 1 to 300 ratio or so. I will see you on the next video.